when a movie is so long that you need about maybe 5 hours to let everything fully soak in before you record your review on it. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Daniel Strunk from QuickTime Reactions, and like I said in my two other reviews that I've posted today, I just did not have the time to sit down and record this review, but now I do, and it is, of course, about The Brutalist. This is a film that was written and directed by Brady Corbett, and it stars Adrian Brody, Felicity Jones, Guy Pearce, amongst a whole host of others. And it talks about an architect who fled Europe during the war, and an entrepreneurial man invites him to build him a structure that will withstand the test of time. Now, that is just me kind of summarizing, what happens in the film, because this puppy is long. It is 3 hours and 35 minutes long. It is by far the longest film that I have seen in my life. And a couple years back, I did go see Killers of the Flower Moon, the film that was directed by Martin Scorsese, which clocked in at about, 3.5 hours long. So this beats it by just a little bit. But where do I start with this film? Well, I'll start with this. It is tied for the second most nominations this year at the Oscars. And yes, I do have an Oscars video talking about the nominees and also giving my predictions. I do have that coming down the pipeline. But I heard so much about this and saw so many trailers, and I'm like, this is going to be a spectacle. This is going to be a spectacle of film. And I just kind of thought that, this film would probably be the most nominated, but again, I'll talk more about that once I get to my Oscar video and, what I think should be changed in the nominations. But let's talk about this. Brady Corbett, who wrote and directed this, he wrote this film with Mona, I believe, I can't remember her last name. Mona something. They did an absolutely amazing job with the writing, making it sound period accurate, because this jumps time frames quite a lot. Well, it is essentially, mid 19th century, or mid 1900s, I should say, the dialogue for a majority of the film. And I think they do an absolutely amazing job with how the film is written on the page. Corbett's direction is also very, very good as well. Like, he has a whole bunch of, I wouldn't necessarily say long takes, but a lot of pragmatic dialogue with the characters to basically get to know them, essentially. And I found that to be very, very riveting. All three of the major characters in the film I found vastly, vastly interesting. And do I think he'll win Best Director for the Oscars? Again, you'll have to wait until my Oscar video to figure that out. But let's get to our three lead performances. Adrian Brody, he's nominated for an Oscar for his performance in this film, and it is absolutely captivating. Like, you believe every single word he says. And what I find about his character so fascinating is that he is willing to sacrifice his own pay for this project to make sure that it fits his vision. Like he sees his buildings as art. Like, obviously a painter would see, art, but a filmmaker would see their movies as art. An artist making music, they would see that as art. Everything everything that every person has ever made in their life, they see that as their art, their kind of like resume, if you will. And he believes very passionately that about his way of doing things should be the way to do things, to not only make a statement architecturally, but also maybe potentially politically as well. And I found that very, very interesting. Felicity Jones, who plays his wife, I also found very interesting because she is more eager to try and make friends with the Americans that are in this film and willing to see the compromises that the Americans are trying to make. However, once something happens and it affects her relationship with Adrian Brody's character, that's when things start to take a turn and she fully supports her husband. And finally, Guy Pearce as Harrison Vanderbilt. He absolutely stuns in this movie. The only other movie, to my knowledge, that I have seen Guy Pearce in is Iron Man 3, when he played the villain in that film. And I found him captivating in that film. This is a whole nother level of captivation that is absolutely amazing to see. And if you guys have any recommendations as to other Guy Pearce movies that I should check out, let me know down in the comments below. Maybe I can discover more about Guy Pearce than just watching, these two films, Iron Man 3 and Brutalist. But yeah, Brutalist deserves every bit of recognition that it has gotten. Like, I cannot wait to see how many Oscars it takes home when the Oscars do roll around. But yeah, it is an absolute spectacle to see. Everything is great about it. And if you are willing to make the investment to sit there and watch a 3.5 hour movie, granted, there is an intermission. There is like a 15-minute intermission about the halfway point. But if you're willing to commit the time and to seeing this film, I highly recommend you do so, because it is absolutely a spectacle of cinema. Not even to mention the fact that it is shot in 70mm VistaVision, which absolutely looked amazing up on the IMAX screen. It was absolutely beautiful. But yeah, all three of my reviews are done for the day, but like I said, I've got an Oscar video coming down the pipeline. I'll catch you guys later.